So we are here with Whitney Johnson, and we are going to make her some questions about how we can disrupt ourselves. Whitney, let's mix the concept of disruption with the culture, this fear to fail that we have in many regions, like here in Spain. How can we solve, how we can leap into one's disruption, this fear to lose that we have in certain places?
Such a good question. So one of the things I would say is that we all actually fail all the time, which is interesting, right? I mean, every single day we're all failing all the time. So the challenge is that it's the shame that we attach to the failure.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say is, if you start monitoring yourself over the course of the day, you'll say, okay, I just failed on that. Like even simple things like, I don't know if you saw when I was on stage, I kind of like tripped a little bit. Like, but no big deal, right? I just tripped a little bit. It's not a big deal. So it was a failure and I don't remember it because I just course correct and I move on. So what I would say, one of the challenges is, and this goes to Brene Brown's work, is this idea of we feel shame around something. And so what we want to do is remember that it is shame that limits our ability to disrupt. It's not actually failure. And the shame comes in because we're making what we're trying to do to be a referendum, or basically deciding that I am worth something. Fundamentally I'm worth something if I succeed, and fundamentally I'm not worth something if I fail, as opposed to just saying, fundamentally I'm worthwhile. I'm going to go try this thing, I'm going to go disrupt myself. It might work or might not, but it doesn't change who I am. And so part of the challenge, I think, for all of us as individuals is to do the work inside of ourselves to get to the point where we feel that we fundamentally are of value and matter, and then we can disrupt over and over again. The other thing that I would say on this is this idea of failure, and I talked a little bit about this in my speech, is that sometimes we get to the top of an S-curve of learning, and we say, it's too scary to jump, it's too scary, I don't want to jump. And one of the wonderful techniques that I've found, and this goes to loss aversion theory, is to make it scarier not to change. When we're at the top of that S-curve, instead of saying, well, if I jump, all these wonderful, exciting things are going to happen, which we can't really imagine, but sometimes it's very helpful to say, but if I don't jump, what bad thing's going to happen to me? Like, I'll get stale, I'll stagnate, I'll be bored, I might get pushed off. Better that I jump when I want, where I want, how I want, as opposed to waiting and being scared. And so, again, from a cultural perspective, I think that sometimes failure is about shame. If we can get rid of the shame, then we're free to fail. And then also, if we're afraid to fail, say, okay, instead of thinking about what good things are going to happen if I do this, let me think about what bad things will happen if I don't. And that gives us a little bit more courage to try.
Oh, that's good. I want to ask you about ageism. Because now here in Spain we are having a high rate of people unemployed that are over 45 years old, 45, 50 years old. And we are now facing the acceleration in the economy. So how we can convince companies to hire these kind of almost senior employees or ex-employees in terms of an experience? Because this is what you mentioned in your talk.
It's such a good question. And what I would say is, Rosa, is I think that there are two sides to this. So on the one hand, I do think that we as human beings have a little bit of a shiny penny syndrome. We want the brand new thing. We want someone who is fresh, and we want to hire that thing. And I do think that there is some element of that we need to get over. At the same time, I do believe that sometimes ageism is kicking in because when people get to be in their 50s or their 60s, they stop trying to learn. They stop trying to disrupt themselves. And they get a little bit entitled. People can get a little bit entitled and say, well, I have all this experience. I've paid my dues. You should just hire me. And they're not willing to do the work. And so it's one of those things that's a both and. On the one hand, we need to stop only looking at the shiny penny, the brand new thing. But on the other hand, when it comes to ourselves, we need to make sure that we're staying current, that we're doing the work, that we're humble enough to figure out a way to talk about our job skills in a way that the people who are hiring us, it makes sense to them. So yes, we need to combat it, but we also need to do the work ourselves as well.
Well, we are staying here in Spain, that is a country where we have a high quality of living, and having everything without much search, because we have a great sunlight and great food and great people and character and so on. How we can disrupt ourselves here? Do we need to do that?
We always do. Everyone does, always. So the challenge is, so one of the things I talk about in my framework of personal disruption is there are 7 accelerants for you to be able to, once you jump to a new learning curve, move up that curve quickly. And the 4th one is battling our sense of entitlement. And entitlement oftentimes comes when we're successful. Like, the more successful we are, the more success we have, the more we think we deserve our success. And so if you've got a great lifestyle, you've got great weather, you've got great food, you've got great friends, it's very easy for us to just, well, I just deserve this. And so we stop, and even though we have the emotional and the financial and kind of the intellectual bandwidth to say, what could I do differently? How could I do it? We're like, no, it's great. I just want it to be like this. So the answer to the question is, right at that moment when we actually have the ability to do it, we absolutely need to do it. Because when we grow, when we disrupt ourselves, we're getting dopamine, and dopamine makes us happy. And really, if you think about it, the whole purpose of our life, of our being on this planet, is to find a way to be happy, and maybe, let me say this differently, to have joy. Like, truly live a joyful life, and you only do that when you're willing to disrupt yourself over and over again.
And is there any eureka moment, like a zero moment of truth, that you decide I have to disrupt myself?
For me personally, or just
in general? Is there any way that we can discover that?
It's a great question. I do think that there is a moment, I think people do have those feelings. There's this sense, I'll give you a simple one and then I'll give you a big one. I do think there's a sense where you can feel inside of yourself that you're starting to stagnate. And you know it's time for you to do something new, and you have that feeling. And so then the question is, do you act on that feeling or do you not act that feeling? And if you don't act on that feeling, you just stay where you are, you can die inside just a little bit. I actually have a theory that people lose their jobs, they get fired, or they get laid off from their job because they're actually on the top of an S-curve or on the wrong S-curve, and they know deep inside that it is time for them to jump.
There is no longer a challenge there.
And they won't do it. So then the universe pushes them off.
Wow.
That's what I think.
Yeah, so we just go to the last question. You've been working also with startups. I do work with startups. I mentor startups here in Madrid. How you can recognize the future 18 members of your startup?
Such a great question. So there are 2 different things that you're testing for. There's the skills that they need to have, like, are they a good developer? Are they good
technically.
So technically, so we're not going to talk about that, because technically you can test for the aptitude. So what I've done is I have a list of about 10 questions that you can ask to find out if a person has potential, but here are some questions that you can ask a person. One is you can ask them, when was the last time that you disrupted yourself? Like, you put yourself in a new situation, and what did you do? What did it look like? That's a person who's going to, and then they'll answer the question or not. But if they answer the question, they're like, well, I did it 3 months ago, and here's what I did, and here's what it looked like. Or it could even be someone who immigrated to another country, right? But when did you disrupt yourself? That's a person who's figured out how to be at the bottom of the S-curve and climb to the top and then jump to the bottom of the S-curve. Another question that you can ask a person is, when was the last time you got feedback? So someone told you, here's something that you need to do differently. So feedback in that you need to fix this. And then what did you do? This is an interesting question for a couple of reasons. person says to you, well, I got this feedback and here's what I did, and this is, you know, I did this differently, great. If the person says, well, I haven't gotten any feedback, that's actually a really interesting answer, because what it could mean, and you have to dig down on this a little bit more, sometimes we give people feedback and they just won't listen, so we stop giving them feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a person who's not ever getting any feedback, it's, excuse me, it's possible that people aren't giving you feedback because they know you won't listen and they know you won't change.
You're not aware of what they giving
Yeah,
you.
so that's another question is when was the last time you got feedback? And another question that the third question I would suggest is to ask people, in your last job, did you do your best? And that's a really good question. And the reason that it's a really good question is that it allows you to do two things. Number one is, do they know how to self-reflect? Did you do your best? It's a hard question. And it also will have you get a sense of how willing they are to be straight with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so if this person is able to self-reflect and say, and I'll give you a quick story, this is why I think it's important. So the former president of the United States, a former president, Jimmy Carter, he won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in the military, he was working with an admiral named Hyman Rickover. And he was applying, I think, to be on a submarine, and Admiral Hyman Rickover said, well, when you were in the military, did you do your best? And he started to say, yes, sir, I did my best. I was, 86 out of a class of 685. Then he stopped and he said, wait a second. He's asking me, did I do my best? And then he stopped and he said, no, sir, I did not. Here's what I could have done differently. There's a lot of gold there, right?
Yes.
Because he was willing to say, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's willing to say that they didn't do their best, now you've got a person who's ready to grow. And they're able to analyze what they could have done differently.
Mm-hmm.
Super, super helpful in terms of hiring for potential. So those are some questions you can ask, but what you're really looking for is this person capable of growing and willing to grow? Because everybody's capable of growing. So the question is, are they willing to grow?
Are they willing to grow? Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.